After uploading my oscillator demo, a fair few people asked if I'd do the same for the drums, just to dig in a little bit more and give a little bit more detail about what's going on in here. Okay, they're not the drums, are they? Let's load in an empty part. I think page 8, number 15. I think this is empty. It seems to be. Let's go to the rhythm part. Right, we've got nothing in there. If we look at the kit, we're on the synthesized kit. What we'll do is we'll go to the initialized kit or the initial kit. So rhythm kit, go across to the user kits, initial, yes. And we can see the waveforms that we're using on the top there, and it appears to be pretty much all 808 in this kit. 2707, but we're definitely in vintage Roland territory, aren't we? It's a really nice sample, that. You'd expect Roland to do nice samples of their own things. But you'll notice there that we've got 2 different, I suppose, oscillators in each of these. So in all of these sounds, the second one is off. And we've got in here, I think I showed this in my last video, 481 different drum sounds. So we've got loads of things covered, and what I've really realised in these kits is that it does tend to be electronic music orientated kits. So if we go back to it's going to take me through some kicks to the snares using the shift. So if we go to the kicks, 43 to 102, so there's 60 kicks in here. There's 80 snares. There's 7 rim shots. And 233 minus 187 hi-hats, so that's a fair few, there's about 50 odd in there. So lots of things, but not really many sort of live kicks or live snares. It does really tend to be very electronic. I'll probably, at the end of this, I'll just upload all the kicks and all the snares maybe, just so you can hear what I'm talking about, if I get a chance to do that. I'm running out of light and I'm rushing. Okay, so with each of these, we've got access to these 2 sections, the filter section and the amp section. We don't have access to the high pass filter, the separate high pass filter, or the keyboard amount or the drive, but everything else here. So attack, decay, sustain, release on both of the envelopes, plus pan, level, envelope amount on the filter, the type of filter, cutoff and resonance. So for every one of these 26 tones, you can have different settings for each of those. And there is only 26 because we can't go up and down on the octaves. Seems fair enough. Okay, so let's just demo some of that, shall we? So let's go to the hi-hats. Let's put one left. The one that's highlighted is the one you're editing. Okay, let's change the level of that. So you can see what I'm talking about here. Let's maybe put the hi-hats onto a high-pass filter. Put the snare on a band pass maybe. So getting the idea. And then let's just to show you, I did do this in my previous video, but just in case you've not seen it, the reverb, the chorus and the delay, these are all sends. So kick will go to nothing. Let's put the snare to the reverb. And these settings are all changed using shift and the button. And then let's put some delay on the hi-hats. So you can see we've got different settings for everything in there, including different levels. Now if I press shift and tone, let's come up here. We've got the overall kit level. And that's for the whole part, the rhythm section. And then we've got individual settings for each of the voices. So we've got voice 1 up to voice 26. And if we come down here, we can see we've got certain things we can do with each of them. For example, we can change the envelope mode from ADSR to ADR. We've got mute groups in there so that hi-hats will mute all the hi-hats, for example. Let's just do that actually while we're doing this. So let's turn these delays off. Let's pan them all to the center. Okay, let's put all these onto mute group 1. It's not too obvious there, so let's do something a little bit more complex. Let's turn this from a sample into an oscillator, or an oscillator-based tone. So if we come here, we can see we're on 233, open 808 hi-hat. Let's drop that down to the very start, and we've got, let's just turn this back into a low pass, got basic waveforms. Some from synths. So if we put this onto a ADSR, we can see we can get synth tones. So that's something I will look at in a second. Let's put this onto some noise, for example. Okay, put it onto a high pass. Makes it pretty obvious, doesn't it? Okay, mute groups. But now we've got this. We can copy this to these two. Let's do that. So copy, that's copied, paste it to there. This one, let's make it a bit snappier. And let's copy this one to there. So copy, oops, press it and then press down. So let's put one left. Get the idea, but then let's turn this into a synth tone. So we can go, let's put it onto, for example, let's find digital saw, let's put it back onto a low pass. Now we've got two oscillators here. Second oscillator's not doing anything. We can change the balance between the two here. So let's listen to number 2 on its own. Let's put that as a digital sawtooth as well. Let's blend them, they're going to sound the same. And that is until we detune one of them, so shift and pitch, and we're slightly detuning one of those waves. And we can copy that to whatever we want. And if we change the tuning on them, so I don't know what this one was in the first place, let's put, I have to change each of the individual oscillators. Perhaps would have been better to copy them after that, but you can detune them like that, you know, you can have intervals in there. Now we've got a synth part, and just for your benefit, I have made this little pattern, so. And what we're playing there isn't a synth and some drums, that's all played on the rhythm track. So kick, snare and hi-hat. But I've programmed onto each of these keys a synth tone, and then that synth tone, so that I can play with the filter on it, I've made the overall effect, if we come into here, a filter. Turn that into a high pass. put it back as a low pass. That's the cutoff, this is the resonance. Now, why would you want to do that? You say you've already got 4 synth parts, but it was interesting because somebody did ask in one of the comments, can you use the 5th part to send MIDI to another synth? So if you've got another drum machine and you want the 5th part to send something to another synth, yes, you can, and I've checked this and it is sending these long notes out. I also did this to check that it could play long notes on the drum section rather than just drum hits, for example, and it is. If we come into this part here, where you can see part 1's doing that. That's not playing anything, and these are long notes. So I think that's a really nice little effect. We could put chorus on each of these, I suppose, as well. So go to each of the, let's have a look at what chorus we're using. Put the C1 on, but I'd have to go in individually and put it on each of these notes now, so. And to show how you can synthesize your own drum sounds on this and how that all works, here we go, we've got a sine in this one. It's a bit weird the way the ADSR envelope works actually, because this is on ADR. If we go into rhythm and tone, it's on ADR. Seems to be doing something. The sustain knob seems to be doing something. Anyway, it's meant to be ADR. Maybe on the longer tones like this, they just cut off. That's enough of that. Okay, so we've got this pitch envelope for each of the drum sounds. That's the amount. We've got an attack and a decay. So if you didn't know already, the way to make an 808 kick is this. Just have a little pitch decay, because it's a bit like, well, people make them with the resonance on a filter. And there's a tom. So that's like an 808. A sine versus a cosine. A cosine starts at the peak of the wave, so you get more of a punch at the front end. There we go. Might be a bit clicky for you, in which case go back to the sine. We'll put a bit of attack on. I quite like it with the click. Maybe you want to put a bit of noise on there as well. So let's go into the second oscillator, as it were. Find some noise. It's around 40-ish, wasn't it? There we go. Change the balance. Or you might want to do a tom where you've got, or a snare where you've got slightly different tones in there. Let's detune 2. Not going to hear much when it's on noise, and let's turn it to a sine as well. Start messing around like that and you get all sorts of things. You might have a snare that's got a fair amount of noise in it. Again, let's put the noise back on. Snare-ish already, that, isn't it? What, like an analog snare? Might want to change the pitch of that first oscillator. Make the noise louder. Get the idea. Very snare-ish. So you can do that, make your own, all you like. So you've just seen me make a tom, a snare, I made a hi-hat before as well. So all the basics. And there's a whole synthesized kit in here if you want to dig into making more yourself. If we go into the kits, go to the synthesized kit, and we can look at how they made everything. Okay. Each of these sounds has been made from sort of first principles. Although that one there, Digibel, is that first principles using a digital waveform? We'll give it to them. Hours and hours of fun to be lost doing that. But you do get nice sounds. I think my snare was better. Okay, that's it. That's the drum parts. Hope that was of some use to somebody somewhere. If it was, please think about subscribing, ring the bell, join Patreon, all that sort of stuff. And I think I'll just run through all the kick drum tones now, just to give you an idea of the styles of music maybe you could do with it. Okay, I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.